Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TalkTrack. We are live at the Barrow House, Florida, Governor Ginger. Our weekly conversations about all things and everything. The Barrow House is a production of the Car Junkies and the Barrow House. It's produced by Morris, edited by Morris, sound mixed by Morris, and presented by me. Thank you all for joining us and for tuning in on YouTube. We appreciate your views. Like and subscribe. Yeah? So today, we are moving towards a very, very important topic and some form of advocacy for a serious, serious thing. So we're going to have Emma co-moderating with me. Today we're talking about sexual health, and we're going to go down that route around issues to do with sexual health, okay?
Safe sexual health.
Yes. Sexual health. So I suppose to prompt everyone, is everyone aware of how important it is to how important sexual health, okay, is to sexual health, Yes. Yes. You can interpret it in whatever way you want. So Emma, do you want to say something as we kick off?
So sexual health, everything in sexual health, oral sex, just even safe sex, like literally safe sex. Doesn't matter if you're cheating, it doesn't matter if you're a side chick, just safe sex. Safe sex.
So, Emma, to kick off, what does sexual health mean to you, at least the way you understand it, and why is it important for everyone to be aware of their sexual well-being?
So I'll say this. I feel like in life, I think money and sex drive us. I'll be very honest. Okay, men is sex and love. But I feel like love is, but money and sex. Yes, but money and sex. But you see, money we probably have, we haven't figured it out, but we're figuring it out. But I feel like with sex, it's something that we all enjoy, but it's also something that we take for granted, 100%. The things that we do, all of us here are adults. We're adults, and we shall be here, but I shall choose to live home with a man here. But you see, what do I know what his status is? And even if his status is, different from mine, that doesn't stop us. Like, we just safe, enjoyable. And I feel like if it's safe sex, you enjoy it. Even if it's different, even if it's just safe. Don't go. And women, we always go with itches. Like, you just itch. And it's like, no, I'll cheat it. But you see, the guy gave it to you. Or maybe the interaction with him gave it to you. Just safe sex.
Yeah. We're still listening to everyone. Thank you, Emma. Yeah, please. Yes?
See, I like these topics.
Really nice.
Okay, so safe sex. I like that we're going down this road because safe sex starts from, it is like saying health in general, yeah? And I keep saying this, especially like for us as women. I think men too, yeah? It's upon me also as a partner to someone or as an adult who loves sex, enjoys sex, and I know that at some point, you get. Even more when you're with someone or, whatever lifestyle people choose. Like, even for us as women, it's worse because, for example, for me, my sexual health starts from my environment. You get. The cleanliness itself is going to determine what happens to the next person or to the person you're with, or you get, because this is exchange of things and fluids and that is why for me, even a bathroom, a toilet, like these are things that in my mind, you find that you may not even get something from your partner, but you've got it from a public toilet. So just because it's like, for example, public toilet, I'm a bit extra when I get into a toilet, even my own. I first, then by the time I sit to do my business, my heart is like, yeah. So I think we when we talk sexual health, sometimes we forget all those good details, those good things that together when you put them, personal hygiene, how you handle the environment around you. Now, people like us who are always going out, in these places, how do you handle the situation? Are you always prepped for these things? Random, Also, like you said, when it comes to safe, back in the day, let's stop telling people who have condoms in their bags that they are whoring around. This is as an adult. It can be your own partner. That dog no guy and as if they don't. I'll talk about it later. Or who knows? It's safety. Back in the day, and I remember so many. And here's the thing: so many women. I speak as a woman. Don't get me wrong, because that's the part I know. So many women fear to carry these things in their bags because the guy will say, this chick is always prepared. That means but no, you get it. And sometimes it's a partner, but maybe you've not yet reached at a point where you're both comfortable to go live. And you carry your thing. I think we need to start having these conversations. That's how people are having the things they're treating and dealing with, because I was not prepared. We were out, we started dating, we didn't talk about it, but for some reason, ovulation time, excitement, even the guys like checho, then you regret it. Yet you could have talked about certain things and then gone a step further, and before we get, and that's where the issue is. We need to learn to talk about these small things that we think are small. It's my body after all. No, your body, as an adult, you've decided to share it. Please keep it. Yeah. You get. So I think, when all of that is said and done, when all those things are done, the sex is going to be awesome. For example, there are people who want certain things. Then you'll hear a guy who says, I cannot go Southern cuisine because of experience. Yeah. Or because they don't know what they are going to come back with. Man, you wake up with blisters,
Yeah.
Even women, we should learn. That's why you see these things, we call them old-fashioned. When they would say have a damp cloth on the side. Before you go lollipop. You understand? For me. So that, because someone goes, that's just by nature of men, you pee and back and move. It's not like you're going to have to use water or tissue and then move. So before you lollipop, you clean core. It's okay. That's not, and let's learn to talk about these things, because someone will say, the man will feel offended. No. But you're telling me this morning you didn't go to pee. So you're just coming to lollipop. Yeah? Or the woman. The guy should not also just come and Southern cuisine. Health is health.
I'll cut you off briefly. Later on, we shall have definitions of going south and lollipop. But let the mic first go around. Yes. Our young viewers, yes, Kia, please take it away.
I'm also a young viewer. Thank you so much for this topic. I think it's very important. Personally, as a health worker, community health, I'm very passionate about sexual health, especially for women. Women and young girls, I'm very passionate about it. So it's a very important discussion to talk about, especially for women. I think our sexual system is a bit more complicated. Like one small thing can affect so much for you. So we take sexual and we place their health. So you define that term health first. Like what is health? Okay, I might not put all the words, but emotionally, physically, mentally, well-being defines your health. So you put there the word sexual. Is it self sex? Is it safe physically? Are you mentally prepared for it? We need to understand all those terms before you go into whatever people are doing. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, Kia, you said something quite important, and one of the reasons, like when I was talking to Martin, and I'm very passionate about this because I think, one, we all enjoy sex, men and women both, but I feel sometimes we women have platforms to talk about. We have like, we think things of like, oh, as girls we're talking about this and guys what, but you see, men are a big part of this, and if we keep leaving them out, I'm actually very sad that there are no more men here, because this is a platform they hear and then they listen to us, and hopefully they will do right by their partners, because men are carriers. Men will carry things, and for them, they will be there, kawa kawa kawa. But for you, it's immediate. The next morning you feel it, but for them it takes a minute. And when I say a minute, it can be even 5 months, 6 months. Guy, he has spread.
Emma, I think from what you're saying, I think I have a question. Do you think how society views on sex, how do you think society views on sex have changed, and do you think that has impacted how we talk about sexual health? And especially because for a lot of, I think, for how society is structured, the patriarchy and everything, I think previously a lot of, even like a lot of little things, little nibbles in someone's sex life, people blame the women. But now I think it's really good that people know that, especially in the 90s, the HIV, it was an epidemic.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who were spreading HIV were, at a stupid rate, were men, irresponsible sexual behavior. And I suppose that was something to do with education. Do you think that with the way society has changed now, do you think there's a different view on sex, and do you think there's a different way we talk about sex now?
Okay, I'll start from the back. Wow. So, you get it. So, if you read about HIV in the past, much of it, not much of it, and please, much of it spread. I'm using this term very lightly. I'm looking at the camera, just to not be misunderstood. It spread from homosexual sex, but also it's that thing we don't talk about. But imagine if we talked about it, it would decrease. But then men were having sex with men, and because if it's in the back, choosing a condom, like it's safe, even now it happens, I'll pop a pill, but it's not right. But also that's another conversation. So I just wanted to say that. But also I feel like sex right now, the pressure is on women. Please be the one to do this. Make sure you do this. But exactly. But also I feel like those now. That's the thing. That now those are minor. They are very minor to the actual experience. Very the least of the worries. But imagine, let's say, I'll give an example of Martin. Now imagine, Martin, me and you decided to go and have sex today. And I told you, let's go have a test. Or let's just go do low-key blood panel, UTI, CBC, HIV, and maybe light STIs, gonorrhea, syphilis. Do you know how much, even if it's an actual, when I'm saying this, I don't mean that it's unprotected after that. I mean, we're doing this, but it's also protected. So, if the condom broke, and also that's also another topic, girls, we need to be okay with lubrication and buying it. It's okay. Some days are good, some days are bad. But imagine that we're okay with it. Do you know how much we'd enjoy sex? Do you know, like you're clear, you have nothing, you would have no inhibitions, and also even the pressure of, oh, okay, but also pleasing is a whole other topic as well, guys.
We have a series. We shall explore all those topics.
Does anyone
Yes.
want to contribute?
Yes, Sarah. Then we shall pass the mic around. Yeah. This Sarah.
So everyone is kind of sticking to the side of the women, of which I really agree. This is something that I, off camera, personally do quite a lot. My hygiene comes first, and the other person. For me, it even starts from the mouth, the kissing, and all that. And I think we need to normalize, we as women, because for so many years it's been women, have the towel in the room, or go and charlie dance and all these things. And of course we are trained, we do these things for the men to, enjoy the sex. That's what our singers tell us. So I feel like we need to change the conversation to, you don't have to do these things for just the men, but also for you. I feel like that is something a lot of young girls do not know. And then, of course, they turn into adults and they continue with the mistake. I don't need the lubrication because maybe this man will think I'm just dry or I'm not good in bed. But in actual sense, if you need it, you need it. It will help you and the other person you both enjoy. So I feel like we need, as women and young girls, to put like personal rules. For example, I won't do anything. Like, I'm not a fan of cookies, not at all. So, but it's because of hygiene and health reasons. Like, I won't get out of the bed rack and then just hook up with a random person. May not be random, but I don't know where you've been the whole day. You don't know where I have been the whole day. Can we get into the shower first? That's a rule I have, personally. I'm not going to do anything with you until we both get into the shower. But there is a lot of young girls that do not know this, and eventually they turn into adults, and the cycle continues. And of course, also the men. Before we used to have the kojas and the sengars telling men what to do in bed and women what to do in bed. But it was mostly to help the men, not really the women, So I feel like the more we have this conversation and also push it more to the side of the women, because at the end of the day, we are the ones that get the infections, I be seeing memes of girls that have cannulas every other weekend.
So,
and the logic
yeah.
behind it is like, oh, you guys are always having infections. Which could be actually true. But at the end of the day, we are the ones suffering. And if we are not the ones to make the rules, to take care of ourselves or put ground rules, like I won't do this unless this is done, it will continue affecting us.
And I suppose I just have a follow-up question. What do you think, what conversation should partners have before becoming sexually active with each other? And I think I would like everyone to give 1 point here. And later on, we shall be hearing from the men who have decided to be quiet. So,
okay, should I start again?
yes, please. Yes.
And guys, we're all different here. We're all not, maybe not all married, but probably all not dating. Just sex. Like, you're meeting someone and maybe it's consensual. Okay, no, 100% it has to be consensual. I'm sorry for even saying that. But maybe a boyfriend, maybe a side, whatever it is. But if you're engaging in consensual sex, what are those things?
Yeah, what are those conversations should have before?
First things first, because health comes first. Are you okay with the condom or you're not? For me, that is always the number one question. Then after that, we can go to the rest of the things. If you're not okay with the condom, can we check? But it also depends on how long I've been going out with you, whether you're my boyfriend or a sneaky link or something, For me, the condom is always the number one question.
Okay. All right.
I don't know so much about sex, but
It is okay. It's okay
but
to...
maybe one of the things I would consider is, or maybe even talk about, is the hygiene.
Yeah.
the hygiene, but also get to know whether you're okay with using a condom or not.
Yeah.
Maybe the status thing can also come in. We could have a test,
Yeah.
a self test to see where we stand.
What was? Okay, before. Okay, before all that, I think there's a question you asked about how we are talking about sex right now.
Yeah.
There's something I read somewhere that this is a sex-liberated generation. Like people are talking about sex everywhere. Like everywhere you turn, people are talking about sex. And I think it has done us more harm than good. Like we have become so careless with sex. And it's true, girls are treating, okay, not girls, boys and girls are treating infections every other day. Trust me, you have to be at a health center to see that people are actually having sex carelessly. We have become so liberated that we are not using the information we have. Like, of course, you're all giving all these points, but I'm sure you're not doing them. No, like, trust me, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not accusing anyone, but me, I'm always on the other point. So let's just stop having careless sex. People are having so many sexual partners, but it's not good. It's not good for you. Like, please, it's okay. Get your partner, stick to them and stuff like that, so that you avoid all these other things that come from multiple people. It's not a must to go home with someone. Please go back to your husband or your boyfriend or someone. No, we're not supposed. The body demands, that's biology. Like for a girl, your body is going ovulation. That's the time you're supposed to look for a mate. Even animals look for a mate during that time. It's not a must. Please, let's have some self-control.
So those are the words of our young viewer, Kia.
So me, I'm very uncomfortable with the way, we have this information. We're supposed to use it to help ourselves. We find like you be at a hospital and a girl 15 is pregnant. This information is there. We know condoms are there. We know that family planning methods are there. That information is there, but people are still getting pregnant with lack of knowledge. We're still getting these diseases because the knowledge is there, but we always pick what benefits us. So as we talk about sexual health, let's not focus on the pleasing and stuff. Let's focus on the health itself. It's very important to discuss. I think we leave that part. Like when you're in a group and we bring out sexual health, we are so fast. People are always so fast to run to the other point of how do you please your man. Those things, they will always come. I know they're very important discussions, but the health, it's way more important.
Okay.
The virgin me.
Yeah. So my question, Ali, yes. My question was, what are the important conversations to have before you become sexually active with your partner?
Right, you want to speak for me? You know, this is a very complicated topic. Now, some of us who are new to this world, but we shall speak the theory part. So, theoretically speaking, when someone talks about sexual health, there's a lot that comes to someone's mind. Just as the person next to me said, it's always about the health and the sexual. And mostly we have to consider the practices. As we are tackling sexual health, there are factors to consider. One, we need to think about consent, how that is safe sexual practice. Consent is number one key. Most of the times we think we are consenting, but when we are not. You're in a bar, someone is drinking, and they lose it. And then at the end of the day, of course, they don't know what's going on. And then you take them home, you do literally everything you're doing to them, but they have not consented. They're out of their normal state of mind. So such things also contribute to safe sexual health as well as practice. The other point is as we are looking at sexual health, we also need to look at contraception. So contraception, these are the ways that as we are having sex with our partners, as you said, these are things we need to talk about. Are you ready to be a dad before we go into this? Do you want to use any protection? Is it the woman alone to do the contraception, or want to do it together? Men as well can do contraception in order to help their partners in this process. The other thing would be sexually transmitted infections. Everyone has been talking about them. I think when you talk about sexual health, everyone is thinking about STIs. But as we are doing that, and we also looking at the safe sexual practice. You know, I might find Emilio here, and I think safe sexual practice is just about the condom use, but it goes beyond that. Kissing as well can cause, herpes. We are lucky in Uganda, herpes is not on a higher rise, but in other states, herpes is one factor. You kiss someone today, the next thing you have sores on your lips. You have this disease that you can't heal for the rest of your life. Also, we shouldn't forget about sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is a big factor before you dive into any sexual activity with anybody. Someone can tell you, I like penetration. Someone will tell you, I don't like penetration. I'm going to say the words as they are. I'm not going to cover them. Someone can choose to say, I can't give you head, or I can't, I'm trying to cover a bit. I can't give you head, and then don't find it offensive, or you feel like, okay, she doesn't love me. It's the sexual orientation part that you're trying to adventure into. Do you want to go down on this woman that she wants it? Of course, you might be into it, but is she open to it? These are things that we need to discuss before we really engage with anybody. Emilio, how does he want it? He's a guy, yes, but does he want me to jack him off first before? How do we do these things? Yeah? Sorry, Emilio. Let me use Roy. Roy is right there. Roy, is Roy the type of guy that, is Roy the type of guy that you want you to first give him head before you guys control? As in, is he into the things that you're into? And then we can have healthy and safe sex practices. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See, that's something I agree with, and that's why I had wanted to disagree with you at some point. When we talk about things like, does he want it, does she want it, it's not just because you're trying to please someone. Because remember, if you're enjoying the sex yourself, it comes with, because usually you see people, if your partner is not enjoying the act, you also don't enjoy it. By the time you're done, both of you can't stand each other because you feel like your sex life is not... You get, eh? So these things are important, all of them. That's why I think it's a wide topic, if I'm being honest. Yeah? And hygiene is one of those things. By the time you have the conversation, does he want this, does she want that? Quite often it's about, it's either through experience or someone has never tried something, so they are not sure if it will be good for them. And you see, sex, whether physically, mentally, all these things, emotionally, these things are important. That's why I said when you start with hygiene, for example, then the guy will be comfortable talking about going down on you or you, because they trust that their partner, they've come to know that you're quite careful with yourself, with your body. You're loving your body. And I think all of these things play, it's like a chain, eh? It's a whole, you can't have one without the other or have the other without, So it's important for us to have these conversations. It's very, very, very important because, it may seem like as a woman I'm doing it for a man, but I'm also doing it for myself. Because if I'm going to have bad sex, I'm going to be like, You get, eh? That is when people start looking at another guy. It's like, because your guy, you get what I'm trying to say. You feel like, because you're not helping each other out. That's why most people go, and that's why we talked about the multiple partner thing. Because no one wants to talk about these good things. These good things, these good things. Before you know it, you're like, this one has refused to give me head. Let me go and look. You understand, eh? So I think if we talked about these things more, our sexual health in terms of, hygiene, disease, mentally, and they always say people who have a happy sex life, not marriage, sex life, are usually people who perform in whatever part of their life. They perform well because you're excited. And that's the thing. I was telling someone yesterday, someone had a period party. Someone had a period party, yes. The more men and women engage themselves on the other, yes? Because even us as women, we need to do research on men's sexual health. Even men need to know women's sexual health. So that you know that as a partner, if your partner knows when you're at your peak ovulation, trust me, every time the guy shows up, you're not going to be disappointed. So if he doesn't know your windows and the guy just randomly shows up, so I think if we talk about these things, if women talk about sex with their partners and men talk about sex with their partners, there's no shame. Yeah, in knowing, now it's her ovulation time, now it's her this, now he's this, now he's that. Yeah. That means it will be easy for you to talk about things like disease, like itch. You can be there and itching. I don't tell a guy, like, he will say I did what? But a man who has the knowledge would know, chances are you are in some random place, wherever you went to pee at, or he carried it without him feeling offended. You understand? You can even sit and talk about it, but last weekend, Sally, I hope it's okay for us to talk about these things. I think.
Speaking of it's okay, we are running short of time, but and this is a topic we're going to keep, exploring more. But we have the men are going to help us wrap up the initial introduction of this conversation because this is an inclusive, so I'm giving you each 2 minutes, okay?
All right, so about this topic, I think, it's a very crucial part, but I think it starts with ourselves. Are you okay with how if you had sex with someone, first of all, the basics. You'd have to be clean. You'd have to be someone. Of course, you can't have sex with someone if you have SDAs. Yeah, I speak for myself. Okay, me personally, if I were in a position where I'm not feeling okay, let's say I have a problem, there's something wrong with me, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to have sex with someone else because I would obviously transfer the sickness to that person. And again, my hygiene, if I haven't taken a bath, of course, it would be ideal for me to first take a bath. So it starts with someone specifically. Before we talk about the sexual hygiene and sex generally, you yourself have to feel comfortable with yourself. Like, if you are in the other person's position, would you be okay with you? Yes, like you're not okay, you're having sex with the other person. And then the other thing, the conversations, that's quite tricky because there are things that you cannot talk about just when you have met someone. But I think you, the women, would be more in position to bring this up or to converse. Reason being, if I'm asking for sex, I ask sex from her, I'm at her mercy in that position. So usually it's this way. For sure, let's appreciate this fact. With the guys asking for sex, I'm comparing here. With the guys asking for sex, I'm asking for sex from a lady. I've already asked someone who is at her mercy. In most cases, any wrong thing that I do might turn her off. But a conversation, if I bring up an absurd conversation, it could put me off. But if she asked me, have you had this? Have you had this? Are you like this or this? I would still, trust me, I would still be answering. She asked me, are you okay with a condom? Yes. Can you do a test? Yes. You see? Yeah, because I want, you see, something we men can't do, eh? Yeah, for sure. Because I would be like, oh, if I over irritate her with my questions and everything, she will run away and at the end of it all, I'm in loss, you see, Yeah, so I think, because if a woman, me personally, you ask me, I will answer all your questions the way you want them to be. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I think about this.
Honestly, this is it's a very wide topic, and I know I'm being picked on so much. But I'm going to give a context of my own personality experience. I think let's agree that the best safe sex is when you know each other's status, right? You don't have to question about anything, whatever positions that you guys want to do. I mean, you can exhaust everything. You'll enjoy yourselves. That said, that means that, to make sure that, your status is very important. But on the other hand, I think, yes, the generation has become so much, sex is too much, right? You're watching a lot of porn and all that. You want to, explore everything, especially the young generation. But if I'm speaking to the older generation, yes, of course, get married. It's a very good thing. But when you come about safety about sex, right? I think the conversation should start. Well, before even the sexuality, that's the physical part, the mentality, the mental, the spiritual. Understand somebody before you go to, to have sex. People have a lot of issues, right? Especially when it comes to sex. Sex is not only physical. We're starting to learn that sex is also very spiritual, by the way. You're tapping into a lot of, issues that are from a lot of so many people. So I think people need to be very cautious. I, for one, am very cautious. I keep dodging hooks here every day, I think. Because I want to take my time, right? Yes. But all the same, I think this topic would go mostly for the young generation that is coming. The information is too much. They can't actually, process all that. We have had time, to talk with our parents, and they have had time, to talk to us about these things. And I think for the young generation, this is very important that, it has to be safe. At least be very, cautious before you go into this whole thing. Don't let your emotions, drive you. There are a lot of things when you're talking about sex, right? So for me, talk about spirituality, understand the guy, in a more, emotional way, physical, what does he do, and things like that. When you go to the physical part, right, that's when you start asking questions. Have you taken an HIV test, right? When is the last time, you did a test? Are you okay for us to test before, we go into this act and stuff, right? And that's my take on, right? Yeah, that's my take on.
So we have Roy. Roy is going to Emma, you can have that mic as Roy will use the.
You want to review? So I wanted to review all the. Okay.
Emma, you say you want me to do what?
Please, do you?
Yeah. No, I've and unfortunately I came in late, so I missed the foundational aspect of the conversation. But Martin caught me up on it, and majority of what we've discussed or what I've listened to is really really important, and I think these are discussions that we must have or should continue having, because everyone here has put out some very very good points. And there's certain keywords I've taken away from what everyone has been saying, and the word being sexually informed. Are we informed? Are we informed? Are we informed? Is something that really stood out to me. And I think the biggest issue we are having regarding understanding one sexual health and just the sexual practice in and of itself is distinguishing between being exposed and being informed. Okay, do we know the correct information out there? Do we know what information or what to talk about with our partners? Do we have that correct sexual information? Do we have that sexual education? Right? Being exposed is something different. We're exposed to a lot of stimuli. We're exposed to a lot of factors out there that make us think we know everything we need to know about sex. Like Emilio said, people watch porn. There's no way you can watch porn and think you're not a sexual pro. You come out and think that's what sex is, right? So that is, we are exposed, but we are not informed, and that's not just us. This is us, and it trickles down to the generations under us. A lot of people think they know what sex is, but they're not actually informed about it. That's why you have 15-year-olds getting pregnant. Is you expect a 15-year-old in this age to have proper sex education, not so? But why is a 15-year-old getting pregnant? Don't they have that information? Use protection, talk to your partner. Are you even ready to engage in the sexual act in and of itself? So once we can get down to the bottom line of distinguishing between us as a generation being sexually exposed and us as a generation being sexually informed, I think we can be able to bottleneck this entire scenario of misconceptions around sex. And also, I think once we distinguish that, then the conversations we're supposed to have with our partners, the conversations we're supposed to have with our siblings, the conversations we're supposed to have with our children in the future would start to make much more sense if only we can bottleneck that that distinction, sexually exposed and sexually informed. Yeah, that's as much as I can say regarding that for now.
Thank you, Roy. This is a very broad topic, so next week we shall probably pick up, or along the way we shall pick up. So Emma will
my
help
last
us.
comments.
Yes, Emma will give us the
There are
last
things I've been
remarks.
picking up, and I just want to clarify. Just you guys, sex workers are sex workers. Even if you're not on the street, even if you're doing it from your home and you're selling sex, guys, it is. It's a viable thing. They also need these sexual health talks. Like, it's I think it's a noble work. It's noble work, but it's just that we look down on sex. That's a whole other conversation. No. First of all, I will say this.
These are the last remarks.
Sexual.
Yes.
Sex work is the oldest profession in life. Even in the Bible, it is old. Like, listen, but it's a whole other conversation, so we're not going to get into that. Second thing, teenage pregnancies, unless it is between a teenager and teenager, otherwise it's just predatory. We cannot discuss it, we cannot justify it, we cannot say, oh, he didn't have, or she didn't. No, it's predatory. And I'm going to, for that one, we can quarrel until tomorrow. But that one is predatory. Unless it's a teenager and a teenager just, experimenting. That one is just lack of information, and that's okay. That's a gap in our system. But other than that, predatory, you are a rapist, we shall stop there. Another thing, herpes. By the way, in all of us here, it's probably maybe one person doesn't have herpes. Herpes simplex. You know that kind of thing that we... when you say, musuja, and you get like a blister, that's herpes simplex. But now I'll go deeper. If you have that kind of thing, musuja, and you go down on someone, or you have like liquid contact, maybe it's mouth, genitals, then it probably becomes, I'm not sure about that, but then it turns into HSV2, which is the herpes that we all fear, the one that the ushers had, that one. Yes. Second thing, this one is specifically for you. You're in charge of your health. When you're with a girl, take the lead. Let's go for a test. Do not leave it in her hands. Your health is yours. Tulwadde, fenna wano, just consider all of us sick. So it is upon yourself. Do not leave it. Do not think that you're at a mercy of, oh, she's so hot, she's so fine. No. Pick yourself and do it. Tell her, tugende tukebeze. If you need to borrow money, borrow it. If you want to enjoy for those 5 minutes, borrow it. This one was actually quite specifically for you. Then also own your sexual choices. Like, guys, sex is in a bedroom closed, even if you're like 10 people, but it is closed. If one of those 10 people jazz, that is on them. But you see, it is in that moment that the bedroom is closed. Okay, it might be open, but it probably is a house, so it's probably locked. Own your sexual choices. Do not make mistakes and blame it on someone. If you have done it, you've done it. Then also, you guys, sex is sex. Be present. Be in the thing. Like, and also even own, like, I'll go back to Joshua. Own, like, because he kept. I'll be very. I'll say this. No, I'll say this. You kept putting the responsibility on the girl. You guys. Listen. No. Everything is your choice. And if you guys, everything is, and I'm saying this for all of us, men, women, sex is your choice. Even if you're in the middle of it and you feel like, I don't want to do this, stop it. Like, withdraw your consent. It's okay. And also have, like, a trusted person that you can tell. You're like, man, I'm here with Maurice. I have said no, but he's still continuing. Guys, let's own our sexual choices. Let's own it. And also, men, I feel like we've ignored it a bit, but guys, men, you're also part of us. You're part of us, so let's own it. We're in this together. We cannot enjoy we can, but it's also another topic. But like, at that point, we're enjoying. So let's own it. Like, if I'm safe, you're safe. So if you share, even if you've been with Sarah tonight, and you tell me, so I've been with Sarah, so did you test? That will inform me, like, do I now wear a condom? Mpisa obyange. But don't be ashamed. Like, you guys, all I want for us is sexual liberation, and in all forms, in sincerity.
Thank you so much, Emma. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Talk Track. We shall keep talking about this as we go along. Tonight we were talking about sexual health and all the aspects around sexual health. But this is sort of like the starter for a long series of conversations we're going to be having with Emma. Thank you so much for bringing this up. The Talk Track is a proud production of the Kara Junkies of the Barrow House. It's produced by Maurice, edited by Maurice, and sound mixed by Maurice. Tonight's episode was moderated by me and Emma. Thank you so much, guys, and have yourselves a lovely night. Remember, be safe, be liberated.